Hey, good afternoon. It's Pete from FigLife.com, and today I'm looking at a fig variety called Madeira Island Black. And Madeira Island Black is a Black Madeira type fig, and a lot of people consider the Black Madeira type fig to be one of the best tasting, maybe the best tasting fig variety out there. And for a lot of people in a lot of different climates, it probably is one of, or maybe the best tasting fig out there. But for me personally, in my climate, I've got my own thoughts on the matter. And I'm gonna take a look at that fig for the first time this year here in just a minute, and I'm gonna discuss what I think about the Black Madeira types and about Madeira Island Black specifically. Okay, so today I'm looking at Madeira Island Black. This is my Madeira Island Black tree. It's grafted. A lot of people say the Black Madeira types, of which this is one, grow kind of slowly, and you ought to graft them onto some other rootstock in order to get them to grow better. And that's what I did with this one. I grafted this, I think, last spring, and this is my second year with the tree, and it's grown pretty well. I did have some, when I did this last year, I grew several of these, or I rooted several of these, and I had some that were grafted and some that were not grafted. And the grafted ones, including this one, did grow quite a bit faster than the ones that were on their own roots. And I don't know if that's just coincidence or not, but in any case, I got rid of the ones that were growing slower, and I kept this one. And it's done pretty well for me this year. I can't remember if I got fruit off this last year or not, but I'm definitely getting fruit off it this year. I got a few figs that are almost ripe. There's another one over there. And then I just picked one that I think is probably ripe. The leaves are looking good. I'm having a lot of trouble with rust this time of year, you can see here. But this tree's been doing pretty good. Mostly I think because it's more kind of out in the open instead of crammed in behind a bunch of other trees. So yeah, that's the tree. Let's go take a look at the fruit. All right, taking a look at Madeira Island Black today. This is my first Madeira Island Black off my Madeira Island Black fig tree. A little bit of a splitting that occurred here. You can see like the pulp is kind of almost coming through, or maybe just starting to come through, and then kind of a mess down here where the syrup has just been brushing up against the organza bag, but a little bit of syrup coming out of the bottom. Really pretty fig. I don't get a lot of these figs, and in fact, this may be, it's a second year tree. This may be my first ripe fig from this tree. I can't remember if I got this last year or not, but hopefully I'll get some more before the season ends. Anyway, let me cut this open. All right, there it is. There's the inside, and that's looking really good, actually. It looks nice and syrupy. I got kind of a little pool of syrup there in the center where there's a little void, and looks to be well ripened. Let's look at the other half here. Yep, that side's looking good too. All right, this might taste pretty good. All right, got a photo of this thing. Just throw that out. Okay, first Madeira Island Black of the season. Maybe the first one ever. Can't really remember if I got this last year or not. But it's a Black Madeira type. And I do have Prato, and I have we'll have a Shia Black, and then this variety here. So I think oh, and then Mario 50. I'm growing that for the first time this year, but it hasn't ripened any fruit for me yet. Yeah, let me go ahead and try this fig. Really good. Yeah, it's got that nice complex berry flavor that Black Madeira is known for. It's kind of moderate sweetness, certainly not a high level of sweetness. And yeah, it's okay. It's, Black Madeira is known as the best fig, right? It's the standard. Hey, this is the best fig. There's no question about it. But for me personally, um, this is not the best tasting fig. It's okay. I mean, it's got, like I said, a moderate level of sweetness. It's got kind of a interesting, complex berry flavor. But there's figs that taste better for me, and maybe it's just because I'm only tasting a few of these every year. But maybe it's because I just, I'm just not good enough at ripening them properly or whatever. But I've got a fair amount of experience ripening figs, right? So if I'm having trouble ripening this fig to the point where it tastes good, is that really a problem with me, or is it a problem with the variety just not being that great here? Unless you are like a super really good at growing the variety, which I'll admit there's probably plenty of people out there that are much better at growing the variety than I am. But I just think for the average grower, they hear things like, oh, Black Madeira, that's the best tasting fig. And then they go out and they try to ripen Black Madeira in, this sort of weather here. And they think, oh, okay, this is the best tasting fig out there. But for me, I've never had Prado, Ishia Black Madeira, or Madeira Island Black. None of those have really given me figs that I'm like, oh wow, this is one of the best figs I've ever had. They're usually not ripened all that well. Even when they are pretty well ripened, like that one was, the taste just isn't, for me, just isn't as good as a lot of the other varieties that I'm growing. So, and you only end up getting a few figs off those trees each year anyway. So, for me, that type of fig just isn't the number one fig you can grow here. It's not even in the top 10. It's not in the top 20. I don't know where exactly it is. Maybe at the end of the season I'll rank every fig or something. But it's not going to be high on that list because it just hasn't. In terms of taste, there's just been a lot of figs that taste better than that for me, and so it's what it is. That's just my opinion. That's my opinion. I'm sure there's plenty of other opinions out there, and probably those other opinions are probably equally valid. But that's my thoughts on Madeira Island Black. So I think it's I think it's fun to grow one of those Black Madeira types, so you can kind of see what all the fuss is about, maybe. But don't expect you're gonna, in this sort of climate, don't expect you're gonna grow it and get a lot of really great tasting figs. You might get a couple really great tasting figs. You might get a lot of mediocre figs. I don't know, but for me, I get a lot of spoilage. I get a lot of I don't get a lot that ripen well. And the ones that do ripen are just, they're okay, but they're nothing spectacular. So that's my thoughts on Black Madeira types in general, and Madeira Island Black specifically. Hey, good afternoon. It's Pete again. And it's September 17th. And I filmed a video yesterday, or maybe the day before, but I hadn't posted it yet. And I just wanted we had a bunch of rain since I filmed the video, and I wanted to show you what happened to my two Madeira Island Black figs that were on the tree, and I didn't pick them before the rain came. So, this is probably the worst splitting on any fig tree that I have. And so it just kind of goes to illustrate what I was saying about this just not being a great variety for this climate. It's just really hard to get good figs from this type of tree. in this climate. And I'm sure there's a lot of places where you can get great figs, awesome figs, best tasting figs maybe. But in my opinion, here in Northern Virginia, this is what you're gonna get more often than not. So just wanted to provide that additional piece of evidence. Thanks. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit subscribe and check out my website, www.figlife.com. Thanks.